Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner, and this is a whole special edition, honey, because Jamal, Bryant, in his Zoom call and his Jesus binder, honey, has came out and gave a little rebuttal to the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion part 1, where Monique read Gizelle for filth, okay, with his actions and foolery of it all and whatnot, okay? We're gonna skip past all the rigmarole and get right on down to it. He was on a live Zoom call. I don't know if he did an invitation for it, if he had Jesus on the main line. I don't know how it got there, but it was there and whatnot, okay? And he was like, let me put my, petty penis pastor hat on and come on and say what I have to say to Monique and to the lady who sent Monique the text or whatever, to Chris, to the producers of Her House of Potomac, and everyone else except Gizelle and her messy ways, which is the reason that Monique did what? Read her for filth, okay? And yes, he had his own Jesus binder, okay? And while Monique had her binder put together with all her receipts, ain't nobody saying, where did Jamal have time to do his binder? Okay, will he be gone all the time anyway from dealing them kids, or he had time all up and through and whatnot? So he brings up, okay, and it was 24, the Zoom recording was 24 minutes long, almost 25 minutes. So let me go step by step by what he said and how I feel and whatnot, okay? He brings up how he has never said anything in the 5 seasons that Potomac has been on air. He has never said nothing in person, in private, in text, in his sermon, or nowhere. Why would you be in church preaching by Real Housewives of Potomac? For what now, bro? What's going on with that or whatever? He brings up how he has never been an advocate, okay, for reality shows because he feels like they messing with not. That part I'm paraphrasing, but he said it never lets anybody look good in whatever light. Well, whatever, because I'm like, wasn't you also on like 2 episodes of not the Housewives, but 2 episodes of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? Now, it was an episode where Scrap De Leon was home, was trying to talk to people from prison, but again, you have been on another reality show, okay? So you may not be an advocate for them, but when you feel the need to be on them, you do what? You be on them. Anyway, he brings up how him and Gizelle was tiptoeing in their Jordans back to a relationship, okay? Taking these little itty bitty baby steps, okay, to reconciling, okay? He then said, against his better judgment, against his wisdom, against his own convictions, he chose to be on the show, and he now regrets participating on the show, that he will never be on the Real Housewives of Potomac or any other shows in that franchise ever again. Now, first of all, sir, you was only on that show a total of maybe 10 minutes. Okay, I'll give you 15 minutes, the whole 20 episodes. You wasn't really on it, sir. Like, not at all and whatnot, okay? So we don't care if you will never be on it again. For you to have agreed to be on it and was barely there, was you really there, sir, African Angel? I don't know. And not only that, how are you a man of God, okay? And you went against your better judgments, okay? Against your wisdom of the Lord, okay? Against your own convictions. I don't want a pastor who would do all of that for some cooch, okay? To get back with his ex-wife. My thing is, if you knew dead in your heart it was not the right thing to do, why did you do it? If you feel like the shows of reality TV are not good, they never pay anybody in a good look, and you, sir, have a very checkered past. And I'm not saying that a sinner can't be a saint, or that a saint can't be a sinner, that a man who has cast out of stones can't come back, pick them stones up, and build himself a nice little house. I'm not saying that. I know you're not perfect, but again, why would you go on a reality show like the Housewives of any city on Bravo with your checkered, baby-making, cheating past, sir? You knew they would not paint you in a good light. They would not, because as you said, the reality show don't do that. This is your fault, okay? This is your fault. Let's move past that and whatnot, okay? He then goes on to bring up through his Jesus binder reasons why he will not ever come back to the Bravo shows of the Housewives, okay? He said the show was a gross misrepresentation of his character, of his ministry, and of him as a human being. I said, oh, well, sir, let's talk about that. Your former first lady, the former last lady, or wherever she wants to be, Gizelle the Green Eggs and Ham Monster, was the one who on season 1 came on and said that you was out here sowing your seeds to everybody around the pulpit of the church or whatever. Your wife, okay, or ex-wife or whatever, is the one who puts those ideas in anyone's head. When Gizelle was first on the Potomac Housewives, I did not even know that she was your ex-wife, or that you was caught cheating on her, getting other people pregnant, or anything. She put all of your skeletons out. She then made a book about it, sir. So please don't make it seem as if the show had this story of this gross misrepresentation of who you were. You were that person before you stepped foot on season 5 sets. Let's make that clear. Why? Because Gizelle did that. Gizelle ruined your reputation. Gizelle gave a misrepresentation of your character. Don't blame Bravo for that, okay? She did that shit 5 seasons ago. She did it every season. Your name was brought up except season 5. You want to know why? Because she needed a storyline, okay? And what better storyline? I'm going to get back with my cheating ass ex-husband. I'm going to leave that be. You're getting me mad stuff or whatever, okay? Now, not only that, you didn't give yourself any other representation. We only saw you on FaceTimes, missed flights, missed family time, whatever. Every time Gizelle would call, oh, he ain't answering. Oh, he ain't answering. Oh, I'm talking to his assistant. Gizelle helped perpetuate that you were an absentee father who your kids don't really like because of what you did to their mother. So again, blame your former first lady, not the show. Okay? He says people came at him with accusations of abandoning his family or his daughters at the photo shoot and whatnot, okay, because he didn't make it. He said, I was in South Africa. My flight was delayed for 6 hours while on my way back. That producers knew that, but none of that was mentioned in the show. Sir, yes it was. They said that you was out the country. They said that even after the show came on, it was mentioned he was actually in South Africa. My thing is, no one's going to take the time to explain your whereabouts if you can't show the fuck up, ever. You may have missed that flight, and we get that you was in South Africa doing great things, but you were never really around to explain yourself, okay? And when you say, but the producers didn't show that about me, you blaming editing? You're blaming editing, sir? Girl, the fuck bye, okay? And I knew that he was out the country. It was mentioned, and again, anyone who came at you, jokingly about, oh, he ain't there, that's the show. They come at everyone like that. Like, that's a part of reality TV. Why is you up in your feelings about the comments of the people who watch the show? You think every week we don't rag on Gizelle's non-dressing, golden-haired ass? Yes, every week we say she can't dress and she can't design shit, okay? But we leave her be. Y'all and y'all FaceTime relationship and whatnot. But again, as long as your daughters are aware of where you were and they were okay, why should anything else that anyone else feels matter? Are you talking to us, the fans, or your children? Which one, okay? Anyway, he brings up as well that people all assumed that everything on this particular season was things happening in real time, but it was actually from 2019. None of this was current. Sir, who the hell are you talking to? Who do you think the viewers of Potomac Housewives assume that during the pandemic right now, that these are things that is happening in today? Like today, like, oh, this must be 2 weeks ago. Sir, we know how the show go, okay? We've been waiting for the Housewives of Potomac since the summer when it was supposed to debut, but COVID canceled that shit. It did not come on until, November or October? I think October. No one thought this shit was current. No one. Mainly because we knew about the fight that happened last year. So no one thought this happened recently. If you have your church members who don't usually watch the show and they assume it was current, talk to them on Sunday during announcements, okay? Don't you come at us, the fans, about your damn church members who don't watch the show, who think it's current, okay? That ain't us. Don't do that. Anyway, he then brings up, he says since he just recently had moved to Atlanta, in the new birth pastor position, this was the first time that he wasn't there for his children for their first day of school, okay? Which kids, okay? The ones with Gizelle or the ones that no one talks about, okay? Which children were you not there for? Or was it all of them? Anyway, he brings up how, my kids were being upset with me because they're teenagers. You know how they are. Teenagers don't like their parents. No, teenagers don't like their parents who cheat on their mama and who don't be around or whatnot, okay? But he say, they are daddy's girls, you know what I'm saying? And they, be here in Atlanta with me. They be watching me on TV for Sunday service. They be wearing the church merchandise or whatever, walking around in hoodies and sweatshirts and jackets that says New Birth Church all the time, happy for their daddy. That may be true, but sir, don't blame us for how your children reacted to you on television, okay? We didn't assume shit. We did not misunderstand anything. Your kids, when you were mentioned, will roll their eyes. They don't like you, sir. Okay, when your wife or your ex-wife asked them, do they want to spend more time in Atlanta? They said no. So again, you can't blame us for how your kids acted towards you on TV. Okay, so that is your fault. Your kids did not act that way. It had nothing to do with us or editing. They don't like you. And I doubt that for a whole season, your kids was so upset that you could not make it to their first day of school because you had to work. Okay, you had to work, girl. And they may be daddy's girls, but for some reason, they don't like you still, sir. Still. Okay, he then gets into Gizelle's father, who said that he was out here. Gizelle should not be with him. He has 6 or 7 baby mamas or whatever. He has a whole new baby on the way. He then said in response to that, my father-in-law is 83 years old, okay? He has said some things about me. However, I was raised old school, and I do not disrespect my elders. I'm saying he has the right to be protective of his daughter. We had not had a heart-to-heart talk regarding me breaking his daughter's heart all those years ago, and working with in-laws is always a journey, and I honor him. That's it. You not going to at least say, he has some things mixed up, but we can talk about that later. And I'm like, because he wasn't lying. There's a way to not disrespect your elders, but still say, that some things weren't really, it wasn't right. That isn't disrespecting. You did not clear shit up because it is true. You have multiple children with your penis. He then goes into the Jesus binder and says, no one can bring me receipts if I have the cash register. I'm like, oh, you got a tagline. And someone put his voice on Nene's intro. It said that would be his Housewives of Potomac tagline. I'm like, it would be. Don't bring me receipts if I've had the cash register. I'm like, first of all, sir, if you fucking a lady next door, okay, you don't have her receipts because it's somebody next door. When you messing with someone outside your own realm of things, you don't have their receipts. But I get what you meant. It would have been good if, it's something about him that, in my opinion, you can't be a man of God and you take 25 minutes out your day to come try to read a female from a reality show when you feel like the reality shows are beneath you. If these things aren't actual and factual and not the thing that you want to come back to, why are you commenting? Because he brought up how Gizelle told him to not respond. And that is the reason he stayed silent, was to honor Gizelle. Oh, so now you want to honor Gizelle. Okay, now you do. But you couldn't show up not near time for her on the show. You could not help her get a storyline, sir, besides the one that looks as if y'all ain't really together. he brings up how the text that Monique spoke about um weren't fully the story. Okay, he brings up how, yes, I was dating a woman in New York. However, that is not a crime, okay, because I have been divorced for 11 years and now I'm a single man. Okay, a single man cannot have a mistress, but you had one when you was married. Okay, when people bring up your mistress, your mistress, it's because when you were married to the first lady, okay, the Green Out Monster, Gizelle, you had a mistress because you were having sex behind her back. Gizelle and her daddy has admitted that you cheated on Gizelle during the engagement, during the marriage, and even before y'all, the whole relationship. Okay, when were you ever loyal to Gizelle? When were you ever, doing the right thing? When did you not cheat? You waited till y'all were divorced to not cheat? Girl, the fuck bye. Anyway, he then brings up the lady who he was dating, who lives in New York. Things between them did not work out. Okay, because sometimes when you date, things don't work out. We know that because things did not work out with you and Gizelle. Anyway, he brings up how neither of them, him and the lady in New York, neither of them had been to each other's houses. The lady had not been to Atlanta to see him. He brings up how, the more texts between him and said lady, Monique didn't want to talk about that because Monique's point was not to point out y'all whole relationship. Monique's point was you were seeing someone else. And this is what she was saying was going on while you were seeing her, sir. And you admitting that you were seeing her proved Gizelle's point. You can't say that because you were not married that you weren't, she was not a mistress. You cannot say because you and Gizelle were taking baby steps to get back together that, you weren't wrong. You were dating someone else and talking to Gizelle. Which y'all were baby stepping in y'all Jordans to this fake ass storyline and whatnot. I'm gonna leave that be because it's just dumb. Anyway, he brings up how there were texts of the girl asking him to fly her to Atlanta, and he said no. There were texts of her asking just other questions or whatever, asking him to proofread or read, because she was trying to start some magazine. He said she was not good enough for. She'd asked him to work on his staff, and he had said no. And then when he hired another woman, the girl accused him of having sex with that person, which he then said, well, I'm not doing that or whatnot. And because things between him and old girl did not work out at that point in time, that she sent their texts to 27 different blogs, and 25 of them did not pay any attention to it. He then said she was clout chasing, okay, because again, she was not a good enough writer or person in her field to have any kind of magazine or whatnot. She was clout chasing at that point, you know what I'm saying? And she then sent stuff to Bravo. How she then sent stuff to the producers. And how she eventually sent things to the entire cast of Housewives of Potomac, where everyone except Gizelle. And I was like, oh, okay. So the thing is, everyone knew about this. That's why that's why Candace said, oh, she'd been waiting to release this stuff, because again, they all had it. That's why Gizelle sat there knowing it was true, because they had all seen the text, okay? That's the reason and that's the thing what Monique said. They want to come from my family, I'm going to come for yours, but I'm going to leave that be. He then brings out the only person who used this information was Monique, because Monique was coming back at Gizelle. He's coming into this as if Monique made up a lie, or Monique, was looking for stuff. No, your bitch sent it to her. Okay, so don't blame Monique. Blame your dick. Anyway, he then brings up how, I have never met Monique, you know what I'm saying? But she assassinated my character with anger and hostility on national television, okay? She called me a holy whore because your ex-wife, the first lady, calls her husband Big Boy as an insult because he's big, you know what I'm saying? And you are a pastor who was known to be a whore, holy whore, play on words or whatever. You are with someone who was on a reality TV show, and this is how things work. If you did not want your past to come up in the blogs and shit, why would you get back with Gizelle? then agreed to come on the show. Anyway, he brings up how I am not sleeping with anyone, any woman in my church. I have no babies with anyone in my church. Oh, the current church. Okay, the current church that you just been in. That's fine, sir. But what about the old churches? Okay, what about the old churches, the old women, the other children? Okay, but again, no one talks about that. Okay, he brings up how Monique was redirecting her anger of blaming Gizelle, spreading the rumor that Monique's youngest son, Chase, was not Chris's son, that he was the son of the trainer. And he brings up how Gizelle and him did not, come up with that rumor, that it came from her friend Gigi. I think everyone is aware that Gigi started that rumor. The issue Monique has always said was the ladies then tried to run with it. And truth be told, the reason she's pissed off with Gizelle is because Gizelle is the one who was on TV on the show in her confessional repeating it all season. So Gizelle may not have came up with that story, but she showed enough ran with it. Green eyes and all and whatnot, okay? He then brings up that Monique's anger is really misguided because she lives in a house with a man with anger issues. He brings up how you will see at the reunion how Chris tried to attack Gizelle and tried to attack Robin, and security had to subdue him. Chris tried to fight Gizelle and Robin. Okay, he then brings up how, you may have my phone number, but I have your address, okay? And because of grace, I did not respond to Chris attacking Gizelle. Sir, had you been at the reunion behind her, where a true man would have been with a woman, you would have been there to ask Chris to sit his ass down if that did happen. Now, we did hear that things got really, really heated and Chris got pissed. I have not heard from anyone that Chris attacked anyone, okay? And I'm going to say this. If Chris just got loud and vocal with Gizelle and Robin, I don't like that being labeled as he attacked them and security had to subdue him, as if he had to be tackled to the ground to be prevented from getting physical with each lady. Now, if Chris did attempt to get physical with Gizelle or Robin, he dead ass wrong. However, Jamal, you can't talk shit from Atlanta about what happened at Potomac. If you did not try to be there for Gizelle, no one what would have happened this reunion. But you don't care because again, you are her fake boyfriend. Anyway, he then said that Chris, Monique's husband Chris, suffers from CTE from football. CTE is a they diagnose you typically after you die. You can't really be, I don't think you can be diagnosed with it before because they have to examine your brain. But he said Chris suffers from CTE, that Chris's former teammates contacted him and told him to not respond to Chris due to Chris having CTE and Chris having anger issues or whatever. He then brings up how last week Chris allegedly was at a Safeway and was verbally abusive to a woman, and he has video footage of it, but he won't release it. Really? Release it. You didn't talk all this shit. Release the video. And how did you get video? Girl, I'm gonna leave it be. Again, a man, he gotta preach on Sunday, y'all. He then brings up how he had tracked down Monique and Chris's pastor, okay, to help him help them. I was like, okay. He then says, I have not done anything against you all this time, but I had to come and say something, okay, because of what y'all have done and because of my past actions, which make current accusations believable, with people attacking me on social media with these vile comments with no information about if it's actual or factual or whatever. I am not a perfect man, but don't come for me unless I invite you. I wish people would push more positive than negative. But after he made a 24-minute video about all of this, Jamal, you made things worse, because now I feel like people are going to full-fledged either come out and say what your other skeletons are, or they're going to keep coming at Gizelle. And as you said, you will never be back on the show. So now she will have to deal with the wrath of whoever else based on what you said. And I feel like both Monique and Chris will probably come out and say something soon, but doing this won't help Gizelle next season because, again, she still has no storyline. I gotta go, honey. I was up, but those are my feelings about what he said, and that was point by point by point of what he said. Okay, Jamal, go call Gizelle. Okay, give her notebook back and saying, go to church on Sunday and pray to Jesus. Okay, gotta go.